Keep the camera rolling. Jeff, say "Bagaga," say "Bagaga," and I say, I have 10 other things. Let me hear, watch this, "Bagaga," and I just started improvising. Really fun. Jurassic Park. Here's a little bit about that. Golly, I've had a big history and a little bit of a future coming up with it. Because we did a Jurassic World Dominion, it's called. Jurassic World : I think is the title, Dominion. And Colin Trevorrow wrote it and directed it. He's wonderful. And it was the beginning of COVID, so we were all bubbled up in a hotel near Pinewood Studios. And this is the original cast with Laura Dern and Sam Neill and me kind of put together with Bryce Dallas Howard and Chris Pratt, but also with DeWanda Wise and B.D. Wong and Omar Sy and Mamadou Ache and Deechin Lockman and Daniela Pineda and Justice Smith. Big, delightful cast, and I think it's going to be good. So it'll be out this summer. But it takes us back and allowed me to step into the shoes again of Dr. Ian Malcolm. Raise your hand. Don't move. I'm going to do the same thing. Start with the same place again. Right. Which way is it going to roll off?
Let's say back. Same way.
Same way? Same back? Same way? It changed. Why? Because tiny variations, the orientation of the hairs on your hands.
Hey, Ellen, look at this.
The amount of blood distending your vessels, imperfections in the skin. It was originally beautifully rendered in Michael Crichton's book, which I read around the time that somebody said, "Hey, Steven Spielberg would like to meet you on this movie." Says I. Read the book, read the script, went in. At that first meeting, he said, "Hey, I wanted to meet you. I've enjoyed what you've done." There's a current consensus and a faction, at least in my group here, that thinks that the script should develop a little, and we may take your character out of it and put that character that was in the book, Malcolm, and kind of meld it into the Grant character. So, it's kind of one guy, and I was, really? Jeez. And I made a little pitch, in my way off the top of my head, I think you might enjoy having that character there, because, I'd be remiss before I left if I didn't say that I think you want somebody to, whatever I said, not that swayed him in any way, but luckily it wound up in the movie. And so then we go to Hawaii, which was the first 2 weeks of both those shoots, the first and the second, The Lost World. And we go to Hawaii, and I'd sort of contributed. I searched around for my costume and my glasses. So we went to the costume person and said, "How about this?" And I think they took most of that, so it's most of what I brought, I think. And they took some pictures, and Steven Spielberg, he doesn't rehearse, at least in that. He didn't rehearse. He went, in fact, on the set, he didn't want to rehearse until he turned the switch on, he said, because, if you do it, then we're photographed it, and I think it should cook to full. It should come to full boil when we're filming it, and I do love that. I love many other approaches and different kinds of things, but I loved how he does that. What a creative force and a sweet, available, delightful, once in a lifetime, once in a generation landmark cinema man he is, full of stories and enjoyment and creative juice. He's has a childlike enthusiasm, and when he's there, so prepared, but he goes, "I know what we can do. Let's do," so you're following him doing that, and the whole thing is moving very beautifully.
Unauthorized breeding in Jurassic Park.
And how do you know they can't breed?
Oh, because all the animals in Jurassic Park are female. We've engineered them that way.
Even though it's a big movie, big production, and there are dinosaurs and all of that, it feels like a kind of an independent workshop where he's very sensitive to and interested in the characters and and ways of maybe improvising certain things. So that was delightful. Ooh, how about in Hurricane Aniki? In that first in Jurassic Park in '93, we went to Kauai in Hawaii, and Hurricane Aniki, as has been talked about many times, struck the island shortly before we finished, and we were stuck there, all of us in the ballroom, the crew and the cast, and Steven in the ballroom of that thing. My character says, you know, we humans not only lack dominion over nature, we're subordinate to it. The wise idea is that we have to live peacefully with other creatures here, figure out how to do it so that they have as much safety and liberty as we do, and align ourselves with nature so that it works out for all of us and the environment and the planet, et cetera, et cetera. Life finds a way. Yeah, I don't know that they'd written in the maybe I contributed that but I don't want to take credit, break my arm patting myself on the back. It's not possible. Listen, if there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained. Life breaks free, it expands to new territories, and it crashes through barriers painfully, maybe even dangerously, but, well, there it is. There it is.
You're implying that a group composed entirely of female animals will breed?
No, I'm simply saying that life finds a way. We didn't know that would be like that, and life finds a way. So that kind of, that's kind of kept around. People have enjoyed that, and isn't that something? Independence Day. That was a popular movie at the time. You know, Roland Emmerich. He's a wonderful fella. I enjoy him so much. And he was young and full of beans, and so were we all. And Aliens and Dean Devlin. It was very fun to work with, and we improvised here and there, and me and Will Smith in the cockpit of that thing, and that was fun. And walking at the end on those salt flats, we've stayed in some hotel at the border of Nevada and Utah or something like that, in some hotel where the casinos were in the, you know, and then we drove out to these salt flats. That, what you see in the movie, that's not CGI, that's a long area of otherworldly looking terrain. Saved the world, defeated the thing, and the camera was way far away, and me and Will Smith were smoking these cigars. They make me dizzy. I'm not a smoker of cigarettes or cigars, and by the time, you know, you go and get it lighted, I'm already groggy and woozy. So finally, these weren't the days of where passing germs was such an issue, so I asked the AD, the very generous AD, hey, can you get this going for me so that when they say action, you can hand it to me lighted, and then I can, on screen, take a few, and that's about all I can do, because we're doing this over and over again. My dad, oh boy, Judd Hirsch.
Well, you see, a man can leave his power.
Do it.
I don't want you to catch cold.
Oh.
What is that? What's the matter with you?
Genius. And Harvey Fierstein was great. They marketed that thing in the Super Bowl. I remember watching the Super Bowl in some party, and wow, they said they were going to do that, but wow, that's commercial, and they destroy the White House. That was kind of provocative and interesting, and it kind of caught on, and gee, that was fun. And the aliens.
We're gonna have to make a run for this one here. Let's get low, let's get fast.
I got you, Big Daddy. Let's get him.
Watch the deck.
Well, I'll tell you, the issue of aliens, for one reason or another, I can't tell you why. I can't disclose a secret that I'm holding. But I just recently, you know, I'd done other things with aliens. I was an alien in Earth Girls Are Easy, and I became overtaken by aliens in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and in Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension, I battled aliens. And so, you know, I've had my brushes and elbow rubs with aliens of one kind or another, and I may have, I can't say anymore about something, but there's a secret that I'm holding which has caused me to do a little serious, just because I'm interested in it, in the possibility of life somewhere else in the universe, the question of intelligent life somewhere there, as we have construed intelligence, so-called, and what our place might be in that family, if there's anybody else out there, and the Fermi paradox, do you know about that? And where is everybody? And I'm currently very interested in it. Fly. David Cronenberg sends this script, and I think, you know, I grew up in Pittsburgh, and my sister and I used to go to the Leona Theater in Homestead and see beautiful old theater and see the first run of, oh my golly, Bridge on the River Kwai, and great movies, and a lot of Roger Corman movies, and The Sadist, and Ega, and a lot of Vincent Price movies, including probably The Fly. So when I got this script, I think I had a kind of thrilling association already with it. And then it's such a wonderful script. David Cronenberg, so smart. What an artist, and so individual. And it was wonderful, and what a part. Very chewy and delicious. I kind of was very excited right away. We talked about it, and there we go.
I was not pure. The teleporter insists on your purity. I was not pure.
I don't know what you mean.
A fly got into the transmitter pod with me that first time when I was alone.
Chris Walas, who won the Oscar for the makeup that he did, designed this thing, and I remember going to his shop, you know, with David Cronenberg early on, and he had drawn out the different stages of my devolution, and we talked about it, and then I started to try on some things, and they photographed them, and, you know, it was a very thoughtful and careful process, and masterful and artful process. Stefan Dupuis was his cohort, Chris Walas's, who got me in finally the dentist's chair. It's starting at 3 in the morning, as I remember, in Toronto, and did 5 hours of makeup on me to put this stuff on, and during which I meditated on the part, and I got ready for the day. And then, you know, technology being what it was, makeup technology, it starts to fall apart right away. So the whole rest of the day, he's taking it up and gluing it down again, gluing it down again. At the end of the day, not that I'm complaining, they didn't have a solvent to take it all off, but, you know, it's an hour of rub, 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 rub. Your skin is red now, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it was fine. They took great care of me. And, of course, doing that project, he and I had an idea. There was an idea about the ending that I became passionate about. I didn't want John Getz's character to win finally, and for me to become a kind of a, I don't know what I was protecting at that point, but I had a big passionate idea about it, and I said, no, don't let them be together at the end. Let them, I had something about her being devoted to me, or I don't know what. We hashed out some kind of collaboration. I enjoyed it very much. I think he did too. As I became the Fly, I don't think I hadn't really practiced and kind of developed a real concrete idea about how I would behave physically and this and that. As the story goes, I did find a fly and looked at a fly, put it in a plastic bag and looked at it and how it was moving around. So got something from that. I think on the day when I put on the thing finally, things kind of had to come together, and they did. I remember the first thing we shot is when I am fully flied out, I crashed through that glass brick wall in the medical facility, and do something like that. Had to come up with it, but we did it. It was just a joy to do. And then his wonderful words, insect politics and this and that, really, really fun. And the tragedy of it, the romantic tragedy of it, really delicious to chew on. And of course, Mel Brooks produced it, Brooks Films, I love him. And then, it was all done, and I went to Times Square, I think, for the opening, and boy, it was a raucous crowd, because nobody knows how it's gonna play or anything. I stood in the back, and it was a real raucous crowd that seemed to enjoy it that night. It was thrilling, and in the decades to come, it gets enjoyed, and people come up to me and say one thing or another, and I'm thrilled that I did it. It was a high point creatively and career-wise, too. Thor Ragnarok. Gee, I had a good time on that. I took Emily Goldblum and the kids, Charlie and River, to Nobby Beach on the Gold Coast of Australia. And the great man and the great director, Taika Waititi, was there. We had met before. He'd said, hey, you want to talk about this? Maybe you should do this part in this thing. And we met at a hotel in Los Angeles near my house. And I had seen for the meeting the other Thor movies. And I had some ideas, and I'd read that script, and we talked. He's so smart and good and heartfelt and authentic and unusual and hilarious and full of the energy of life. So fun from the start. So I jumped on board, and he said, you know, I don't want you to do anything theatrical or cartoony. I think who you are, kind of, and your part of your straight behavior is a little bit useful in this so-called character. I think we'll dress you up in some way, but I think you can be contemporary and kind of a little bit in this vein that we're talking about, and I like to improvise a lot. And I said, well, me too. And then we got to the set, and I'll be darned if it wasn't as much fun as I've ever had.
Whenever we get to talking, Topaz, about Scrapper 142, what do I always say? She is the, and it starts with a B.
Trash.
No, not trash. Were you waiting to just call her that? It doesn't start with a B.
Booze hag.
I'm so sorry. No, best. I was thinking about best, because I always say you're the best. She brought me my beloved champion, you know.
You say that every time she's here.
What have you brought today? Tell me.
He would say, yeah, let's do this, because it's a big, big machine that has to work and a big story that has to be told. But he said, now that we're here, I got 10 other ideas about things you could say. Keep the camera rolling. Jeff, say bagaga, say gagaga. And I say, I have 10 other things. Let me hear, watch this. The gagaga. And I just started improvising. Really fun.
Time works real different around these parts. On any other world, I'd be like millions of years old. But here on Sakaar, in any case, you know this, you call yourself Lord of Thunder. God of Thunder.
I've never met this man in my life.
He's my brother.
Adopted.
Is he any kind of a fighter?
You take this thing out of my neck and I'll show you.
Oh, listen to that. He's threatening me. Hey, Sparkles, here's the deal. If you want to get back to place, Asperg.
Asgard.
Any contender who defeats my champion, their freedom they shall win.
Fine, then point me in the direction of whoever's ass I have to kick.
That's what I call contender.
We're a good team, at least in my humble opinion, and I enjoy him very much. And that whole operation at Marvel, Kevin Feige and Louis D'Esposito and Victoria Alonso, they know what they're doing, and they build in reshoots, a schedule that involves reshoots, and they have Taika trust that he's going to make something interesting and different out of it, and they want to make popular movies, but high quality movies, and I love them, and I love what they do. And I have a secret, another secret, that I'm holding that I cannot disclose, that, well, I must say I just have a current and living affection for Taika. And I love that character, and I can't say any more. Look, I'm already expectorating over the ideas. I can't say any more than that. The World According to Jeff Goldblum is a series. For those who don't know, it's a series that Newtopia, a wonderful production company, did for Nat Geo, and it's being released on Disney+. We did a season of it, of a dozen episodes that came out a little bit ago. You can still stream it on your Disney Plus and see many episodes, and ice cream, sneakers, jewelry, cosmetics, pools, RVs, gaming, different things. Then we did another season during the pandemic, mostly, where we were going to not go all over the country, but kind of limited to LA. But then somehow during the thing, LA became iffy, and we went to Atlanta, and we shot there for a month. 5 of the new 10 episodes of season 2 are being released on Disney Plus Day, which is November 12th. The episodes are Dogs, dance, magic, monsters, and fireworks.
What? Is there, I don't understand the syntax here. No smoking, open flames. Wait a minute. See this comma here? No smoking, open flames. I think they mean open flames. Oh, hey, good. So, so forget that. All unauthorized persons and vehicles, you know, beware, I guess. Turn back. We're authorized.
I really like them. I recommend them, and they'll be out. You can stream them, and then 5 more will be sent your way if you like, sometime a little after the first of the year. And I can't tell you what those episodes are, but it's a series that allows me to invite you and take you and guide you on a little half-hour journey of exploration and adventure and science, secrets and mysteries and knowledge that I discover on one particular subject or thing that we all seem to love and seems to be familiar, but there might be some extraordinary things about this ordinary familiar thing, like the character in Our Town who goes, I wish I'd appreciated when I was there all the dogs that I saw, or the ability to dance, or da-da-da-da-da. So it's a little bit of that. There's wonderment and phantasmagorical transmogrification available, and plenty of me messing with the form, you know. I didn't want to do something conventionally documentary like you've seen a host do. I didn't want to kind of make it easy for myself and read a teleprompter, but I do what I'm doing now and kind of expel my thoughts, such as they are, and feelings to my friends in camera land.
Emily, and we're about to, as the sun beautifully goes down on this epic landscape, about to set off some fireworks.
And then I encounter people that they would cast brilliantly and recruit and research these things and then take left turns and sequences. In an episode on fireworks, we talked to an astronaut about the stars, because fireworks really mimic in some ways the stars, the show that the stars put on every night, and allow ourselves to look up to see, and then we explore our place in the universe and the shape and size and dimensions in the universe a little bit. So things like that. In dance, I wind up doing a dance with a sea lion. Believe it or not. In dogs, I get taken around and on a urban mushing thing on some rickety thing over a bouncy landscape with a team of huskies, you know. There's some weird and wonderful stuff. And for monsters, I go up to the mysterious and dark forests of the Northwest, and with people who are looking for Bigfoot. So anyway, that's a little bit about the series. I love it. And then I gave them my whole photo albums from when I was a kid, and my home movies when I was in Pittsburgh that include my parents and my family. And then my wife, Emily Goldblum, and the kids include themselves in a couple of things. So when I watch them, I'm delighted by these episodes, amused by myself and everybody else, and I'm choked up. I get choked up on camera a couple of times, and when I see them, I adore them. So anyway, that's me. Thank you, says Jeff Goldblum, so much for your time and bearing up with this and watching me talk about this. And if I happened, on the off chance that I missed anything that you wanted me to talk about or any parts that you were thinking about, maybe I'll see you in the future. I'll arrange such a thing, and we can talk about things in the future. There's plenty more where that came from.